Welcome back to Time Out with J and G. It's Jay over here. It's G over there.
Yo, what is going on, everyone?
Today we have a very, very packed episode. We have a lot of things we want to talk about. We brought overreactions for each NBA team, not each NBA team, but from the first week of the NBA season, as the title said. It's been officially, as we're recording this on Tuesday, 1 week since the NBA season has started. We have some really, really good games, some not so good games, some really, really big performances by some players, and some stinkers to start the year. So we're gonna overreact. We each brought a few things we want to talk about overreactions. And again, don't take anything we say here too seriously, because we did this with the week 1 of the NFL season where we just kind of overreacted the first week because it's fun that way. It's fun to kind of do that kind of thing. How are you doing today, Levi?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to get into this. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So, nobody really knows this, but you've been on vacation for the past week. So how was that?
It was all right. It was fun. Got to spend some time with the family.
That's good. And you're going on vacation here again soon, aren't you?
Next week.
Yeah. This guy just taking off work to go on vacation, man. Look at this. But there's a few different things that have happened across both the NFL and the NBA I kind of want to bring up and talk about for a couple minutes here before we really dive into the college football, and then, of course, the main part of today's episode, the overreactions. So we're going to start. Actually, hold on.
Do you just get that breaking news too?
Yeah, breaking news from Shams. A Shamber alert, as we're calling it nowadays, I guess. The NBA has fined the Philadelphia 76ers $100,000 for public statements around health status of All-NBA center Joel Embiid, sources tell ESPN. So I'm assuming, I guess what they're saying is, because I'm pretty sure the report was that he was supposed to play opening night. Yeah. And then they backed it out last minute and saying, oh, he's been hurt for a while now. I guess that's kind of what they're coming from. I didn't dive too deep into the original, when it's the post that was about, they're going to be, let's see here. Okay, I just got a quote tweet. Shams just quote tweeted it again and said, sources said the NBA's investigation showed that the Sixers did not violate player participation policy with Embiid's missed games, but in fact with the public comments that did not properly reflect his health status with his knee. So basically they just didn't they didn't, for lack of better terms, they didn't tell the truth. They knew he was hurt and they kind of let it on. It's kind of the same thing the Pelicans did with Zion. Was that his rookie year when they were like, oh, he's going to be ready for the season, and then he ended up missing a bunch of time his rookie year. That was years and years ago, so a lot of people probably don't remember that. But
yeah,
his first couple years, Zion had a lot of injury history. So that's that, and I'm assuming either throughout the rest of this episode or for next week, we'll probably have more information about that than we do right now. But yeah, that was breaking news right now as we were. I was scrolling to get the other stuff.
Crazy.
The first thing I want to talk about: Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry has sustained a left peroneal strain and will be reevaluated on Friday. So I am not really familiar with what that is. So looking it up, it says, let's see here. So apparently tendonitis can be in that. I'm trying to figure out where it's in your foot.
Okay.
It's basically I don't even know how to it's basically in your ankle kind of thing. The ball that connects your ankle to your foot, kind of.
Okay.
And if left untreated, they can lead to a tear. So that's not good.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be reevaluated on Friday, which is in a couple of days from when this is releasing, and he is gonna miss all their games this week, and we'll see how long he's out for. Which sucks because he was having a good start to the year, and hopefully he's not out for long.
Yeah, hopefully they caught it early. Nothing major is going to happen. Maybe miss a week or so, and he's going to be right back into it.
That's right. Next, breaking news earlier today from the NFL that the Indianapolis Colts are benching former top 5 pick Anthony Richardson and turning to Joe Flacco. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's more than just benching your developmental quarterback. I think there's something going on. And Anthony Richardson is kind of seeing what happened with Tua, because we all know that Anthony Richardson didn't play, I believe, because of the concussion or something to do like that. So I feel like he's trying to get ahead of it and not make it a bigger issue. So I also think that's why he pulled himself out of the game on Sunday.
Well, he came out and said in the interview that he was tired. That's why he pulled himself out of the game. I mean, obviously we don't know the truth. He might be trying to hide an injury, which is never a good thing to be doing. But yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, I don't know if I fully understand the decision to bench him unless, like you said, there is like there's an injury there. Because I mean, if we look at this Colts team, they're what? Let's see. We'll pull up their record here. Preseason, they are 1, 2, 3, 4. They're what? 4-4 right now, right?
4-4.
4-4 right now. It looks like. So I mean, I guess that's not in that division that could, I guess, lead to a playoff. Maybe they're like Flacco gives us a better opportunity to try to push into the playoffs. I don't know though, because like I said, it is a top 5 pick, a former top 5 pick, a guy that you want to develop. So benching him to try to make the playoffs is kind of a weird. I don't know. It's kind of a weird move if it's anything less than he's injured.
Yeah, that's why like the whole thing around is just like there has to be something going on that he's not fully ready to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely something because it just doesn't make sense other than that. Next, Stefon Diggs has officially torn his ACL and missed the rest of the season.
That's a big blow to Houston because didn't they already lose Nico Collins?
Yeah, Nico Collins. I'm not sure how long he's out for. I'll double check that while you keep going.
You know, it's just that like losing one of them, you still have the other one, but now you lost both, and now you're relying on, your wide receiver 3, 4, 5, and 6 to make that step up. You have C.J. Stroud, who had an amazing rookie year, and he's having a pretty good year this year. But as we say, quarterbacks can only do so much. He does have Dalton Schultz. He does have Joe Mixon out of the backfield, but it just losing 2 weapons like those 2 guys is really going to hurt the offense.
They're saying they expect Nico Collins to be back by week 10
So
because he can't be activated off the injury report or the injury reserve till November 4th, which is in a little bit less than a week. It's next Monday. He can't be, so he'll miss this week, which is going to be week 8, and then he won't be. He'll be reinstated for week 9, but it's if he's going to be really ready to play by that point in time. So it's either going to be week 9, and then they're hoping for sure by week 10, Nico Collins should be back.
So about 2 weeks.
Yeah, a week or 2, depending on his like recovery, come back from practice. But yeah, like I said, it's a tough blow. That was their big like. The Texans had a lot of moves this past offseason to make this team better, but Stefon Diggs was definitely like the biggest move to get more weapons on the outside for C.J. Stroud. And yeah, like I said, they already lost Nico Collins. He's been out for a couple weeks already. He's gonna be out for even longer. And Stefon Diggs, I mean, they're gonna be running out there. I mean, they have Tank Dell. They have a couple guys out there. It's like it's gonna be kind of rough for the next couple weeks, but I don't know. I think C.J. Stroud. Let me look at the Texans' schedule. So who are they playing these next couple weeks?
And on another note, Stefon Diggs is a free agent after this year.
Okay.
So that's going to hurt. That could potentially hurt his market value and hurt if the Texans are going to re-sign him.
For sure. So this week, the week that they're for sure not going to have Stefon or Nico Collins, they're playing the Jets, which, that's on Thursday night, so which will be tomorrow when this is released. On Halloween. They're playing on Halloween. Then they play the next Sunday against the Lions, which is going to be a very, very interesting game. And you're hoping you have Nico Collins back for that. And then they play Dallas, and we're not even going to get into all that. So, but it looks like the Jets aren't exactly a tough team this season. Any Sunday or I guess any given Thursday, anybody could win. But I think that missing them both against the Jets or not having either one against the Jets probably is a better case scenario than a lot of other teams.
Yeah, no, it's just you got to hope that you can get Nico Collins back. You don't want to push him back too much to where he ends up getting re-injured, but you need him back.
Mm-hmm. Next, breaking news: the Carolina Panthers are trading wide receiver Deontay Johnson to the Baltimore Ravens for a 5th-round pick. What do you think of that?
I mean, Deontay Johnson's a good running back, good wide receiver. I mean, he had some good years in Pittsburgh. He was doing his thing a little bit for Carolina, and obviously Carolina is not the best, as it's prevalently known. But no, I mean, he's going to Baltimore. He's going to be in a good situation. Lamar, I feel like, is getting better as a passer. So getting another weapon for him like Deontay Johnson is going to be really, really good for him. Really good for Lamar and the offense. That'll probably open it up a little bit more for Derrick Henry, even though he's already out to a great start for the year.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you got to think they brought in Zay Flowers is there. Obviously, Nelson Aguilar's had some good moments. Rashad Bateman's young guy there. They bring in Deontay Johnson. They have Mark Andrews. They have Isaiah Likely. This is probably one of, if not the best offensive talent Lamar Jackson's ever had around him.
Yep.
So we'll see if this is the year he can deliver in the playoffs and the Ravens can get to the Super Bowl. Because I mean, it's looking good for him right now. It really is looking good for him right now. They had a rough loss to the Browns this past week. It was a pretty unexpected loss to Jameis Winston and the Browns team, but it happens like that sometimes. It's a division game, and as better as anybody else, like an AFC North division game, anybody can win on any given Sunday. I don't think you take too much stock in that loss.
Yeah, no, it's rough over here in the AFC North. Also, shout out Cedric Tillman, former Tennessee wide receiver, caught 2 touchdown passes and the practically game-winning touchdown pass.
Yeah, shout him out. Yeah, this Ravens offense. Obviously, Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Deontay Johnson, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar. Like I said, he's had his moments this year, so you can't get him out of that. Andrews, likely, good offensive line. They have a good team. They have a good team down there in Baltimore.
North, though.
You're right. You're definitely right. The Steelers, man, they just. Hey, you know what? We owe Russell Wilson an apology.
We do.
I don't think either one of us talked down. Maybe we did unintentionally, but I don't think either one of us were shitting on Russell Wilson. We just thought that Justin Fields was the hot hand at that point in time, and you were winning games with them, so it didn't make sense to bench him. But he's looked damn good. Russell Wilson's looked damn good in these past 2 games for you guys.
Yeah, he has, and like you said, it was more of just the fact that I was concerned with benching Justin Fields because he was playing as well as he did. It wasn't more of the fact that, that I didn't think Russell Wilson was going to be bad. It was more just you have a hot hand right now. Why would you kind of extinguish the fire and potentially ruin his confidence? But, I mean, seeing Russell Wilson go out there and throw the ball, I mean,
he's made some really big throws.
He has. I mean, last night, that one throw to George Pickens in the end zone when he tapped his right foot twice.
Oh, yeah. Didn't get both down. Just got one down twice.
No, Russell Wilson's been playing amazing, and obviously Tomlin saw something that no one else saw. That's why he's the head coach. That's why he's getting paid all that money to win games. To help win.
And it is interesting because you're seeing this Pittsburgh offense. Again, you guys were 4-2 when you benched Justin Fields for Russell Wilson,
or 3-2,
or 3-2, 4-2,
something like that.
Something like that. You guys were over 500. You guys were looking pretty good. And so a lot of people were really confused at it. But we've seen something different from this Pittsburgh offense. We've seen the ball get thrown down the field more consistently, more plays down the field. And, that Pittsburgh offense, it's still not going to be a top 5, top 10 in the league. But I think it's still going to be, it's going to be better, honestly. If it keeps playing this way, you're going to have a more explosive offense.
Oh, absolutely, and Najee Harris has been running the ball.
Yeah,
he has been running the ball with purpose. The past couple games, and we're getting Darnell Washington involved. I've wanted to get him involved for a while. The big 6'7" tight end, and shout out Calvin Austin for that punt return touchdown. Possible roughing the punter. Some angles say yes, some angles say no.
Yeah.
But shout out to Calvin Austin for that, and the touchdown.
Here's my question for you. Let's just say Russell Wilson keeps playing. I don't know if he's going to play this well the whole season, but at least good enough to keep his starting job on the Steelers. Do you think Justin Fields has done enough this season to warrant a contract with Pittsburgh or a contract somewhere else after the season?
I think if Pittsburgh is smart, in my opinion, you try and get Russell back for 2 years. And you try and get Justin for about 4. Because then next year you can start Russ. And then if you deem fit, then you start Fields at some point, either that season or next season. And now you have Fields for the next 4 seasons if he blossoms into what I think he could be. And then you still have Russell there for the backup position.
I think that sounds good in theory. I just think you're going to have a hard time convincing Justin Fields to sign a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
When he knows he's going to be a backup for at least the first year, maybe 2 of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Justin Fields, because like I said, with the way he's played to start this year, teams are probably going to want him. And if he has it's 4 years to maybe be the backup fringe starter with the Steelers, or I get a 2-year deal to start on the Jets or something, a team that's going to be looking for a quarterback here soon. And you know what I mean? It might be worth his while to bet on himself for a shorter contract and try to get a bigger deal afterwards. I would like the Steelers to keep him if like, that's a guy they want in their long term. But I think you do. I think they will have to make a decision. I don't think they'll be able to keep both of them unless it's like a 1 year deal for Russell Wilson or something like that. Like maybe like a one for Wilson and a two for Fields. But then even it's like I don't know. It's a tough scenario to keep two quarterbacks.
It's going to be tough. I feel like Russell Wilson's got a couple more good years in him, but it's just you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to overdo him to the point where then he starts regressing, and then you don't have
Yeah.
that option to be like, okay, Russell, you're not playing as good. You take that backup role, and then insert Justin Fields or whoever here to be that starter when Russell Wilson starts that decline. Because it
Yeah,
could
and I
happen
mean,
next year or so.
yeah, and I mean, like we said, we've already seen a regression from Russell Wilson from what he was in Seattle to then when he got to Denver to now in Pittsburgh. I think he's looked better in these couple games in Pittsburgh than he really did most of Denver. Honestly, like I'm not sure what the whole situation is between because that Denver has kind of been a dumpster fire for a while now. So I don't know if there's just something else going on there. But he's playing good enough right now to win you guys games. So right now you got two quarterbacks that have won you games. So it's a pretty decent spot to be in right now.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Broncos, I do want to give a shout out to Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He has been playing pretty damn good, and the Broncos are 5-3 right now.
That's right.
They are 4-1 in their past 5 games. 6-1 in 5-1 in their past 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has come on and he's been playing really good. Broncos have been playing good. So shout out to the Broncos. Shout out to Bo Nix.
Yeah, we did that rookie quarterback episode a couple weeks ago now, and we were both kind of like on Bo Nix, but he's really been playing well recently. Because even that episode, the previous game or two before we recorded that episode, he was playing well. So it's just kind of the start of like what he's been on now, and he's like what 24 already, 24,
Yeah.
25. Like he's an older rookie, but not comparing the two, but Joe Burrow was like 23, 24 when he came in the league. You know what I mean? Like these are guys that have been in the league for that haven't been in the league a long time, but are already older. And again, not saying that he's going to be as good as Joe Burrow or anything like that, but it's like as a quarterback, being 24 years old, you still got really 10 to 12 years left. You know what I mean? Especially with the way players are playing longer now. It's like this isn't like a 5-6 year thing and then you're done. You have him for a while to build a team.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like in this Sean Payton system, Bo Nix is going to flourish. And like I said, I believe I said during that video or episode, I feel like at the peak of his career in like the next couple years, he's going to be a fringe top 15, maybe top 10 quarterback because of the system he's in.
We'll see. I mean, time will let us know.
Yep.
The very last thing I want to talk about before we get into everything today, and I want to save it for last because it deserves our respect. Report came out a couple hours ago that Javarius Ward, cornerback for the 49ers, his 1-year-old daughter, Amani Joy, has passed away on Monday, which would be yesterday as we're recording it. So rest in peace to Amani. It's obviously no cause of death has been released. I don't think it matters, honestly, at that point in time. What happened? It's just losing a 1-year-old daughter. Neither one of us can fathom that kind of pain because neither one of us are fathers. But shout out Javarius Ward. Take all the time you need. I'm sure the 49ers are going to be okay with you being at home with your family and stuff like that. And hope to see you back out there soon.
Yeah, I mean, take the time you need. Griefing is a process that you have to go through sooner or later, and hopefully he copes with it. He does well, and if he needs therapy, go get some therapy.
100%. It's a big thing. So yeah, I just don't want to talk too much on that because it's a very touchy subject, but we just wanted to put our prayers out there for the Ward family, and just wishing them the best. Anything else with that?
No, not really. I mean, you really livened it up for me to talk about college football.
Hey, listen, I feel like we had to be respectful and put that out there.
Hey, respect it.
Yeah. So now that we have that taken care of, we're going to jump into Levi's college football report.
All right, so we just got done week 9 of the college football season.
Damn. We're flying through this year.
We are flying through this. I think there's 4 more games in total left for college football before we get into bowl games and everything else. But on to that. Last Friday, Boise State, now ranked 15, beat UNLV 29-24. Ashton Genty went for 120. He went for 128 yards, 1 touchdown. It was an off game.
The hell is that? Yeah, what is that, man?
I don't know. But still, like, if it's anybody else, that's a great game. It's crazy that we're seeing 120 yards and a touchdown. It is a bad game,
Yeah, it's like not a bad, but yeah, like you said, an off game.
Yeah,
It's an off game
yeah.
for them.
But no, looking at this now, the last like real tough team that Boise State has to play is Oregon State. That's the very last game of the year. It's looking more and more like Boise State is going to be the last conference champion in there, and they might not even be ranked fifth, 12. They might be able to sneak their way into that top 10 and maybe, just maybe, host a home game. I doubt it, but maybe, bro. Home game, first round, Smurf turf, I'd go wild.
That would be so crazy. That would be so crazy.
It would. Now moving on to number 1 Oregon beating Illinois 38-9. I thought this would be the upset of the week, but it was not, sadly.
I had to take my Ducks. I took the Ducks. I'm good.
Yep. Now Oregon, it seems to be one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country, and their quarterback, I believe, is Gabriel Dillon. He is in the mix for the Heisman. I feel like he is top 5 for the Heisman voting. Shout out to him. He's been playing really good. Oregon's been on a tear ever since moving in to the Big Ten. Now, on to the next game. A lot of us hope for the upset here, but Notre Dame 51, Navy 14. Seems like Navy making the playoffs seems to be a
that got kicked in the butt. Yeah.
Yep. No, it brought us back to reality. But I'm just gonna say this now. I don't think Notre Dame is as good as everyone thinks they are.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I think they're good, but I just don't think they're on the level of, making a push for the college football playoff, second, third round, make it to the championship. I just don't think they're that good right now. Now, on to our last game that we're going to cover. Now, number 16 LSU loses to now number 10 Texas A&M 38-23. Texas A&M has been on a tear.
Mm-hmm.
They have been on a tear there. I believe they're actually tied for the lead in the SEC.
That's crazy.
There's a situation that the Texas A&M Texas game at the end of the year could decide who takes home the SEC regular season, who wins the base in the regular season and makes it to the championship. And even then, we could have a A&M and Texas rematch for the SEC championship.
Okay. Hey, all Texas SEC championship. That's pretty fire.
That would be pretty fire. But yeah, anything else to add for a Week 9 review?
Not really. No. The past 2 Saturdays, I've been busy helping out some family members, so I have not been able to watch. And I feel kind of out of the loop when you talk about this because I'm like, I have not been able to watch past like 2 weeks. So it's like, I'm just like, yep. I give you my predictions, and then I wait for this episode to find out if I was right or not.
No, it's all good. But now going into Week 10, one of the games that I do got to talk about is Air Force at number 21 Army. This is the second game in the Commander's Cup. It's it's basically like a triple rivalry between the Air Force, Army, and Navy, the Armed Forces Academies. So shout out to all 3 of them, but our Air Force is going to Army. Navy beat Air Force earlier in the year, so if Army does take the win against Air Force, the Commander's Cup is going to come down to Army-Navy game at the end of the year. That being said, Bryson Daly, I believe as of right now, 19 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He has a chance to break Barry Sanders' rushing touchdown record.
we got 2 guys competing for Barry Sanders titles this season.
3.
2 different players.
3.
Who
Dylan Sampson has 17 rushing touchdowns right now.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They're just chasing that one guy, though. It's got them all.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But no, I have Army winning and taking one more step to winning that Commander's Cup. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go Army. Yeah, no, like you said, they're just a powerhouse team right now, and it's crazy to say that about Army because we're not in the 1890s anymore.
Yeah,
but they are. Our military teams for the most part, Army and Navy are just playing so good right now. Obviously, Navy got their what stomped in this past week against Notre Dame. But it does make me think, and maybe makes me think a little bit less of them. But I still think they're a really damn good team that just kind of ran into a buzzsaw. So I'm gonna keep with my military teams, and I guess both military teams are playing. But go Army, beat Air Force. Yeah. Sure.
And Army is gonna be playing Notre Dame here in the next couple weeks, so keep an eye on that game.
All right.
Under the next game, we do have Louisville at number 11 Clemson. Clemson is favored by 10.5, but Louisville has played some tough teams. They lost to Notre Dame by, I believe, 1 score, and Miami by 1 score, too. This game is going to be a lot closer than what people think. I personally have Louisville winning this game, and if that happens, that causes some controversy in the ACC because then Clemson becomes a one-loss team. And the next game we're going to talk about, someone is going to potentially jump up there. But, Louisville playing good football. If things go a little bit differently, Louisville's ranked top of the ACC right now. It's getting a little murky in that ACC for the title. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
says Miami, 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 but Miami, you know, they got off. You know, they won by a thread a couple times
Yeah.
now. All it takes is one play to go differently and you lose. But who's your pick for this game?
I'm going to go Clemson, but I want to give a game prediction, okay?
Okay.
This is going to be one of those games where it's going to be Clemson survives late.
Okay.
It's going to be either Clemson's defense forces a turnover, like Louisville's driving for the game winning touchdown field goal, whatever, and Clemson's defense shuts them down, or it's going to be like a game winning field goal. It's gonna I think this game is going to come down to the last drive.
As we're recording this Tuesday, spread is 10.5. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a lot closer, and what you're saying could very well happen. I'm not doubting
Yeah.
it, but I got Louisville. You said you got Clemson.
Yes.
Alrighty, now on to the next game. Now this game also has ACC championship implications. We have number 18 Pitt at number 20 SMU. Both of them are undefeated in conference play. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If either team wins, they will be tied with Miami at the top of the ACC. And if Clemson loses, there'll only be a two-way tie. Clemson wins, three-way tie, but it's getting a little murky in the ACC. But I do have Pitt going into SMU and taking the dub. Pitt's playing pretty good right now this year, and I think the Panthers are going to make a little bit of a push for that ACC championship.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to go with Pitt too. I only root for one Pennsylvania team, but I guess I got to give my love for it, my respect where it's due. I'm going to go with Pitt as well.
All right, now you talk about your team. We are going into
Let's
the
go.
big
game,
noon
baby.
Saturday game. We have number 4
Woo!
Ohio State at number 3 Penn State. This has major implications for the Big Ten championship game. Some that
You're
could
goddamn right.
potentially keep a team out that could go undefeated. I'll get into that after we hear from Paul. I know you probably got Penn State, but let's hear it.
Come on, man. We are, man. We are Penn State, baby. I'm riding with Penn State. Listen, Ohio State's number 4, like I said. Penn State's number 3. I don't remember the last time we beat Ohio State. It's been a couple years since we beat Ohio State. Streak's got to end one day, and it's gonna be this Saturday. Listen, this Penn State offense, they can run the ball. Drew Aller can sometimes pass the ball. Big plays. Their defense is phenomenal. We have one of the best tight ends in college football.
Yep.
Maybe the best. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like this feels like one of them years. Penn State is one of those football teams that it's like, I'm trying to think of the word, like where they're always good, but not quite good enough.
Yeah.
Every year, you're good enough to be a top 10 team consistently, but never like very rare are we a top like number 3 team in the country. Very rare are we winning these big games. I'm not a James Franklin guy. I think he struggles mightily in these big time games. We've lost so many of these games via coaching decisions, play calling, and then of course like poor play on the field by our players, whether that's preparation by the coaching or them just not playing well in the big games. I think there's a lot going on at Penn State right now because they have those allegations of some players that got expelled, and like there's that whole thing with James Franklin last week with that press conference. I think this is the most dialed in a Penn State's team's been in a long, long time, and I think James Franklin is tired of hearing about this, and he knows people want him gone. He knows the fans don't love him, and I think he's going to want to come out and give a big statement win against Ohio State. Listen, this game has potential of going multiple ways. I see a world where Penn State comes out and wins this game 31-10. I see a world where Ohio State comes out and smacks our ass like they do consistently, and our offense just can't move the ball down the field, and our defense gets tired, and they can't stop them anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This also could be a close game. It could be another one down the wire, but I think I'm going to go Penn State, and I'm going to give you a 31-27 line. Penn State.
Ooh, okay.
Yep.
I respect it. There is a report that they don't know if Drew Aller is going to be able to play.
Yep. I've been trying to avoid that, but yes, we'll see. We'll see, baby.
If Drew Aller doesn't play, does that change your prediction?
It has to. It really has to, because love him or hate him, Drew Aller makes some big plays for us. He has some boneheaded interceptions sometimes. He has some boneheaded, but I think he's one of the best quarterbacks Penn State's had in quite a long time. The bar is not very high, but I think he is. I think he's a very like like very up and down quarterback. When he's up, he's playing damn good football. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if he's not in, it's going to affect the team drastically because then they know we're going to be. We're already like a run heavy team, but they're going to know we're going to be really really run heavy team.
I had Penn State too. It's just the feeling. This is like a whiteout without the whiteout.
You're right. I don't even know when our whiteout is.
I think it was against Washington.
We play Washington the following week.
I think it's against Washington, but I'm not 100% sure. But no, this has to be like 123 on the decibel rating. Like it has to be pumping in Beaver Stadium. But also, I said
you're right. It is Washington. Yep. Yeah.
But I also said there are implications here, right? Oregon,
100%.
Oregon beat Ohio State by 1. Okay. Beat Ohio State.
Wait. Hold on a second. Are we carving a path for your Penn State Nittany Lions to be the number 1 team in the country?
There's a path there, but there's also a path that Oregon doesn't make the Big Ten championship.
Okay, well that's a less cool path, but I mean, okay, let's go.
But still, I mean, like if Penn State comes out and wins like 35-14, you cannot keep them out of that 1 spot.
For sure.
Because Oregon played them, they won by 1. Penn State beats them by. If Penn State beats them by more, it's hard to not. It's hard to keep.
Who's
them
at 2
out of
right
that
now?
Spot. Who's at? I think Georgia's at 2. I think it's Oregon,
it's just,
Georgia.
It's so tough, man. It's such a tough battle. Those like, I could see a world we beat them and then we just stay at 3 because Georgia and Oregon's ahead of us. Like it's tough. It's real tough up there.
It is, but on to what I was saying. If Penn State,
I just had to.
You're good. You're good. If Penn State can beat Ohio State by more than 1 point, all right, and then win out the rest of the year, they will be undefeated Big Ten play. They are guaranteed a spot in the Big Ten championship game. Indiana plays, I believe, it's Indiana, plays Ohio State later in the year. If they win by more than 1 point, let's just say they win by a field goal, and Indiana wins out, the Big Ten championship game is going to be Penn State versus Indiana because they take into account similar games, like similar opponents and how much you won by. So if Oregon only beat Ohio State by 1 point, but Penn State and Indiana won by more than 1 point, they're left out.
I'm picking up. Yep. Picking it up.
Unless the powers that be say no, we're not doing that. Oregon's getting in, but there's a chance where we could see Penn State, Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, and I am here for it.
That's crazy. See, I got to be honest. I just think without losing, I think it's tough for Oregon to fall out of the number 1 spot. I really do. I think the more likely scenario, honestly, if I'm being honest, is if Penn State beats Ohio State by multiple scores this week, they move up to 2. Georgia moves to 1, and Oregon goes to 3.
I can see that happening, but
because I just don't see any world where Georgia gets penalized for this. You know what I mean? Because they're just not really involved. Like I feel like the rankings will be like, well, Georgia has nothing to do with this, but Penn State, they would want to put Penn State in front of Oregon, but Georgia, like I feel like they would have no reason to be like put a Penn State in front of Georgia.
Then just flip them. Just put Oregon at 3 and Penn State at 1.
Again, but if I'm being honest, I don't think we're a better team than Georgia. If I'm being honest,
but like for I understand what you're saying, but like for the ranking standpoint, it's gonna be like if you beat Ohio State by more than 1 point, let's say you beat them by a touchdown or 10 points or something, you beat the same team Oregon beat by more points.
I feel like I'm going through the same thing of Penn State being ranked number 1 that you were last year with the Celtics being like so far ahead of everybody else. Where it's like I want to be number 1, but I kind of don't want to be number 1 because like that's crazy pressure that I'm not used to as a Penn State fan. Even us at number 3 right now has got me kind of like holy shit, man. Like you know what I mean? Like and so I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I just maybe it's because I haven't really seen it. I would be shocked to see us at number 1 if we win this game. I just for some reason in my mind I'm just envisioning looking at those polls and it goes Georgia, Penn State, Oregon. Like I can just see it now. You know what I mean?
I can understand where you're coming from 100%, but no, I mean even theoretically, if you do lose this game, you have to keep it close.
100%.
You have to keep it with about 1 score. because
Yeah.
then, you lost the number 4 team. You're going to drop, but maybe only to maybe 5 or 6.
I was going to say, not outside top 7, I don't think.
Yeah, no, maybe 5 or 6 if you keep it close. Now, obviously, if Ohio State walks into Beaver Stadium and just punches you in the mouth and wins 35-7.
Yeah, we might drop to closer to 10.
Yeah, and then that's a different story. But no, in my opinion, must-win game. But if you lose, you gotta lose close. Like I'm talking like game-winning field goal for Ohio State type close. Like
we're not putting that in the air.
Nope, we're not putting it in the air. It's sucked out. It's thrown over there.
Gone. It is gone.
It's gone. But no, I have Penn State winning. Beaver Stadium is going to be electric. Decibel rating is going to be off the charts. Big noon Saturday.
That's right. I have a tow truck outside my. That's not even a tow truck. It's a moving truck for somebody, one of my neighbors. I was like, what does that sound? So if you guys hear that in the background, that's a big-ass truck. Anyway, hopefully they're not going this entire episode because they're freaking beeping. Can you hear that?
Not really. I heard it like right before you mentioned it, but haven't heard.
Okay, well, they stopped backing up, so. All right, is that it for the college football report?
That is it for the college football report.
All right, well then, before we get into the main topic of today, let's hear a word from our partner. I am proud to announce we are partnered with Dubby Energy Drink.
Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash, all while tasting amazing.
If you go to the link in the description, it will take you to our sponsored flavor, Push and Punch.
Use code TIMEOUTJG, that is TIMEOUTJG, at checkout for 10% off your order.
Thank you to Dubby Energy for partnering with us, and back to the episode. Okay, now that we've heard a word from Dubby, or us and Dubby, whatever the heck you want to call it, we brought overreactions from the first week of the NBA season. Now, I brought 5 of them. How many did you bring?
I brought 5 also.
Okay, we'll see. We didn't share this with each other before the episode, so hopefully we don't have same ones. And if we do, hopefully it's only 1 or 2 instead of 5.
Yeah.
Because that would be kind of a bummer. But we'd be able to talk about it more in depth that way. So, we'll be able to figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
So, I am going to give you the honors of starting with your first overreaction.
My first overreaction is Anthony Davis for MVP and Depoy.
Listen. My number 1 is Anthony Davis will win MVP. It's fine. We can talk about Anthony Davis then. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna pull up his stats here, but no, he has been absolutely amazing. Like everyone's been talking about Anthony Davis taking that steps this year, and I feel like this is the year he's taking that step.
Yep.
He's finally getting, like, right now he's averaging 32.8 points, 12 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and 2.5 blocks a game on under 2 turnovers.
Shout out the Suns game last night. He scored 29 and broke the 30-point game streak because he was at like 35, 34, 31 the first 3 games. Then only got to 29 last night. Disappointment.
But even that, he's been playing amazing. Like last night, like you said, against the Suns, he had 29 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal. He's just been amazing. Like he's always been a good defensive player, but I feel like this year he's taking it to that next step. And offensively, like he only has like what? He took 3. He has 7 threes through 4 games. Usually we're sitting here and he's got like 10 threes, 12 threes. Usually he's chucking. He is getting in the paint and he is doing work. Now he's getting to the free.
And he's only made like 1 or 2 of those threes, hasn't he?
He's 2. He's made 2. He's 2 for 7 right now. But
like
your best Anthony Davis is one that's in the paint, bully ball, dunking on him, hitting them post fades, hook shots. Just absolutely destroying people in the paint. Got that pick and roll with LeBron. Like I said, now this is probably the best Anthony Davis we've seen.
Yeah, and I mean, a small little. I just want to interject. Like when we talk about like rebounding in the paint, he's a very, very good offensive rebounder. A lot of people, that's kind of something that goes unnoticed. But there was multiple times in the especially the Kings game, and I know like and Domantas Sabonis is a really damn good rebounder. But he was getting into the paint and jumping up and getting offensive rebounds over 3 Kings and putting it right back up. Like he was just like, again, it's only been 3 games, 4 games into the season now, but we're overreacting. He's been dominant. There hasn't really been much anybody's been able to do against him so far.
Like you said about the rebounding, he's averaging 12 a game. 3 of them are offensive rebounds. 9 of them are defensive rebounds. He has been on an absolute tear. This is the most 32.8 points. If he can keep it above 30, and he
That'd
can
be
keep it.
nuts.
If he can keep it above 30, the rebounds to around 11 and a half, 12, and keep the blocks like you cannot keep him out of the MVP race if he keeps these numbers up.
Yeah.
And,
And I mean, the big. Oh, good.
and depending on what goes on, because Wemby's not having the greatest start. Rudy and that Timberwolves team, they're playing some good defense, but when it comes down to it, I doubt he wins both. But if he can keep this up the entire season, he's got to win at least one of them.
Yeah, like you mentioned, he's just been so dominant. I think, and I kind of said this in my cloud report on this past Sunday, that I think this is finally the year we're hoping Anthony Davis takes over as the Lakers' best player.
Yep.
That was kind of the whole idea when they traded for him back into before the championship run, is that he would take over as the Lakers' best player, and LeBron can kind of not coast, but kind of like he's damn near 40 years old. He'll be 40 years old in like 2 months. He cannot be the consistently best player on this team if you want to win championships at this point in time. And he was really damn good the championship year, but it was like LeBron's probably still the better player. And then you're like, okay, the year after the championship, then between injuries and just kind of up and down play, didn't really do it. The next year they take him in, again, injuries, up and down play. It's like we've been waiting a couple years for Anthony Davis to kind of take over as the certified best player on the Lakers. And honestly, through the first 4 games, he has been the best player. And that's something J.J. Redick has said plenty of times before the season, that he wanted Anthony Davis to be the focal point of this team, that he was going to have LeBron playing more off ball. And a lot of people are like, why would you take one of the best players of all time and a high IQ player like LeBron off the ball? But the difference is, J.J. Redick said, he's not just off the ball standing in the corner. No, LeBron is in the actions, like setting the screens to pick and roll, but instead of being the ball handler, he is the screen setter. He's the one moving around on the court, so now the game's completely opened up. It's not just LeBron walking the ball up the court, D'Lo walking the ball up the court, and Davis walking the ball. They're moving. This is the most I've seen this Lakers offense move and just be doing multiple shifts on the same possession since our championship run. So listen, JJ Redick got a lot of shit, and maybe I could even, since you talk about Anthony Davis, JJ Redick has been really damn good these first 4 games. He's been really, really, and a lot of people talked bad on JJ Redick getting this job because obviously he's friends with LeBron, he had the podcast with LeBron, and it's just they're calling out some different words for getting that job. He's been really, really good. They blew an 18-point lead last night, and they lose against the Suns. The second time we played the Suns already. We beat them the first time. We lose to them this time. And JJ Redick came out and said, that's on me. We only scored like 18 points. We had 34 in the first and then 18 in the second, I'm pretty sure. And he came out and said, he's like, listen, that's on me. I cannot orchestrate an offense that only scores 18 points in a quarter. He's getting into the timeouts. He's running plays. He's drawing up plays in the timeouts, which is something Darvin Ham, he was not doing. Darvin Ham was just chilling, bro. And JJ Redick is out there. He's drawing up plays. He's getting people involved. He's calling timeouts, which is a stupid thing to say. Do you know how many times in the past couple years with Darvin Ham, the other teams would go on a run, and Darvin Ham would just be standing on the sideline while the team goes on a 12-0 run, a 14-2 run, a 16-6 run. JJ Redick, if that run gets 8-2, he's calling that timeout. He's like, we gotta stop the momentum. We cannot let these guys keep going. And that's a small thing, but it really is a big thing because contrary to I've been seeing some talks on Twitter recently, momentum is a very, very real thing in sports.
Yes, it is.
If you don't think momentum's real, you just simply have not played a sport.
Yeah.
Just honestly,
I mean, if you're just watching basketball, like if you're just watching the game and a team goes down 20 points, like I've said before, all it takes is just a little momentum swing or just that little bit of run, and next thing you know, it's a 5-point game going into the fourth, or a couple minutes left in the fourth, and this is an entirely different ball game because the momentum swung in the other team's favor. Speaking of JJ, like you said, a lot of people owe him an apology.
Yeah, 100%.
For how they talked about him. And I do want to point out, he drew up a terrific play to get Austin Reeves a 3 with 40 seconds left. I believe.
Yeah, he's also been phenomenal too so far this season. Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves, and I'm just like, when I was looking at him, I'm just like, why Austin Reeves? And then I looked at the box score. He was 5 for 8 until that point.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm slinging him the ball for that 3. I just, great play, just couldn't knock down the shot. But very early in the season, this Lakers team shows a lot of promise.
Yeah, there's serious talks about making Austin Reeves the starting point guard on the team because D'Lo has not been great to start this season. Actually, been pretty rough to start the season. They're thinking about throwing him in the lineup, and You're gonna love to hear this. You're gonna love to hear this. But people were drawing up lineups that is Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect, Rui Hachimura, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. And
Hey.
Dalton Connect's been really good to start this year too. I'm really excited for what he's going to do in this team. I've always been a fan of the Dalton Connect pick. I've never been down on the pick. I just didn't know at what point he was going to start. And I don't know. This team looks good. Again, yes, you blow that 18-point lead last night against the Suns. That sucks. But we've already played the Timberwolves. We've played the Suns twice. We've played the Kings. We've had a really, really crazy start to our year. We're 3-1. If you would have told me, if I would have looked at that schedule before the season and said, will we be 3-1? I would have been, nah. I would have thought maybe we win one or two of those games if we're lucky. It's just, we've came out with such a fire, such a passion, and a lot of it rests on Anthony Davis right now. LeBron last night had one of his worst games I've remembered in a long time. He had a real rough game. And if we even get a mediocre LeBron game, we probably win that game. But it's nothing you can do. You're not going to go undefeated. You get the loss out of the way. You had a bad game from LeBron, and you move on from it. But yeah, Anthony Davis has been phenomenal. Austin Reeves has been great. JJ Redick has been great. And honestly, this is the most excited for Lakers I've been in a long, long time.
I've seen a stat like the last time LeBron scored under 10 points was back in 2007.
Yep.
It was close.
At least in the regular season, because he had that one in the finals. Yeah.
In the regular season, but that's crazy. That is utterly crazy. Almost happened, but he did end up getting. I don't know if it was a bucket or free throws or what it was.
It was yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure he hit a 3. To get 10. But
so far this season, LeBron's shooting 40% from 3, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to the Lakers. Shout out to Anthony Davis. He's my pick. He's my new pick for MVP or Depoy. Got to pick one or the other, I guess.
If honestly, right now, I think MVP ladder is, and you can interchange all these 3 guys right now. I think are interchangeable.
Yeah.
But it's Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, and Shea. I think are the 3 guys right now that should be leading the charge for MVP through the first week of the season.
Yeah, I can't deny that list. They've all been playing great. I know Tatum did have that, lackluster performance last game, but
yeah,
it's one game. Next game he'll bounce back and score like 40.
I just think the biggest thing for Anthony Davis is going to be playing 65 games.
Yeah.
If he can get to that 65 game mark, I think he's going to have a real shot at MVP.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I know pretty much Embiid is going to be out of that race just because he's not playing 65 games.
We got a lot going on there.
Yes, there is.
So we pretty much both have the first one. So I'll go ahead and do my second one. The Milwaukee Bucks are in deep trouble. They're not the only team. There's another team here that I'm really, really worried about. But we're gonna start with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Go
ahead.
I have one on here about the Bucks, but it's more differently. It's about Doc Rivers.
He was some criticism I had. But I had a couple different reasons why this Bucks team is bad. Right now, the offense just isn't very, very good. You got Dame and Giannis. You're missing Chris Middleton. I understand that. Chris Middleton doesn't come back and fix this team. Will he make him better? For sure he will. But he's not going to be for a term I heard Kenny use. Shout out KOT4Q. Chris Middleton isn't going to be a blanket that covers all your issues. Like, he's not going to come in and fix everything. He'll come in and help. He'll provide spacing and hopefully some decent defense at this point in time. But he's just not going to be the savior of this team. And I don't know what's going on. Dame and Giannis just seem to not really have a lot of chemistry on the court together. And I know this past summer, I think they both had things going on. I think Giannis was over in his home country a lot for some different things. So they didn't get to work out a lot together in the offseason. But for as great of a player as those two are, they just don't really... Like, if you look at Dame and Giannis, you would think that would be like a damn near perfect duo. Just the way they play, it's like that is a really good duo. They just don't really work together.
Yeah.
Like, it almost reminds me a lot of, like, very, very young and early Tatum and Brown. Where it's like, they're both great players, they just don't do it together. Yeah. It's like, you get the ball, I get the ball. You get the ball, I get the ball. And it's like, Giannis, man, Giannis is one of my favorite players. And we all know when Giannis has the ball in his hand, he's dominant. He'll run through a wall. He'll run through 4 people to get a bucket. When he doesn't have the ball, he doesn't want to touch anybody.
No.
He sets weak screens for as good of a player he is. I just don't understand it. This entire Bucks team has a lot of problems. He's made comments that if they don't win in the next year or two, he's probably going to get traded. I don't think there's a world where he gets traded unless he asks for a trade.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that was about. It just seems like this Bucks team, for as good as they're supposed to be with the top players they have, they just like they're bad. They're bad. They're ranked 27th in the NBA in off-ball movement.
Jeez.
They don't have shooting. They don't have. I can go on and on about this team. I have more points here. Okay. The Bucks currently ranked 29th in defensive rating. This is a team with Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the best defenders in the league. They cannot defend.
And
Part of that. Oh, go ahead.
And they also do have Brook Lopez, who is averaging 3.3 blocks per game, so he is a threat at the rim.
Yeah. And you know what? They've played Chicago, they've played Brooklyn, and they played a 76ers team without Paul George and Joel Embiid. Why the hell are you that bad of a defense against those teams? They lost to Brooklyn. Cam Thomas supremacy. Okay, I've been shouting it from the rooftops. Okay? Listen, bro, I know me and you both love Bobby Portis. He's an awful defender this year. He's been bad. He's like, I don't understand. I don't understand how a team with this talent of Giannis, who's a top 3 player in the NBA, some people might think he's the best player in the NBA, Dame, who obviously this isn't like the prime version of Damian Lillard anymore, but I still think a top 10 point guard in the NBA, honestly. He was just an all-star starter last year, even if maybe it was unwarranted. Like, they're bad. Part of it could be, to your point, on Doc Rivers, because they've been bad. They've been under 500 since he's got there, which I'm sure you have all those stats pulled up. I don't know. They just don't seem to know how to play together. They can't score the ball. They can't defend. And they just act like they don't know each other on the court. It's like they never know where each other are. It's just, I could go on for another 20 minutes, but I'm not going to. Because I'm sure Bucks fans know everything I'm saying, and they probably agree with most of it. It's just, this team just doesn't look good. And for a team that I thought was going to be a top 3 seed in the East, it's still early. Again, it's still very, very, very early. But it does not look good right now.
You know, my thing is, it's a little harsh, I'm going to be honest, but it's Doc Rivers is actually a terrible head coach.
Terrible's a crazy word, but yeah, okay. We're overreacting.
Here's my reasoning. My reasoning. He's made 2 finals appearances, right? He had the big 3. He had technically big 4 in Boston, only made the finals twice. One of them lost one. Then with the Clippers, you had Paul George, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick, and I can't, there's a couple other guys that I'm just blanking on right now.
You mean Chris Paul, not Paul George?
Chris Paul, not Paul George. Chris Paul. So he did have Paul George too.
Yeah, with the Kawhi team, but you were mentioning the team earlier.
That team earlier. What I don't even think, did they even make a Western Conference Finals?
Nope.
No, so there's that. Then you go to the Clippers when they had Paul George.
And Kawhi Leonard.
Where'd that team go? Did they even make a Western Conference Finals appearance?
They made one.
One. Okay.
Their teams only, yeah.
One.
And that was and Kawhi was hurt that year. It was just Paul George pretty much.
So now you go into this season, or last season, when Adrian Griffin got fired, and you hire Doc Rivers mid-season. Adrian Griffin, even right now, has a better record than Doc Rivers has as coaching this Bucks team. And the Bucks, understandably, they were injured. I can sympathize with that, but you get beat by, the Indiana Pacers in, 5 or 6?
Mm-hmm.
And it just, Doc Rivers is not a good coach, and I feel like they shouldn't have fired Adrian Griffin. That's my biggest thing. Just let it work out the year. You bring him back next year, so be it. It just is what it is. You should have just rode with Adrian Griffin. I do not think Doc is the head coach that everyone proclaims him to be.
And to your point, you said that last year they were injured and they lost in the first round. They've only won 1 or 2 playoff series since their championship a couple years ago. And at some point in time, Giannis keeps missing playoffs. Giannis keeps getting hurt before the playoffs. We had to have a conversation about that too. Like, the last time Giannis had a healthy playoff run, they won the finals, and that was 3 years ago now. You know what I mean? Like, we have to have a conversation about the health. We have to have a conversation about the coaching. This entire team, I've been seeing Bucks fans say we need to rebuild. I don't know if you're at that point right now, but there's just something fundamentally wrong with this team. And I don't know if it starts with coaching. It goes down to accountability for the players. It's just, for a team that's supposed to be so good, they're not.
It's bad, and it's bad. And in my opinion, if the Bucks want to actually compete, got to get rid of Doc Rivers, and they also got to find pieces. Also, I know I'm going a little tangent here, but we talk about their defense not being as good. They lost their heart and soul for their defense when they traded away Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday was the heart and soul of that Bucks defense, and he made Giannis play better defense. Bobby Portis play better defense. Brook Lopez is a good to great rim protector. You know, he was the defense was flowing better when you had Drew Holiday, and obviously Damian Lillard is the better player. I'm not going to sit here and argue that Drew's better, but defensively, Drew put soul into this Bucks team.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Looking back on it, I don't think they were wrong for trading for Damian Lillard. You know what I mean? I think at that point, you look at Damian Lillard as an upgrade, and you think a tandem of Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo could run the league, and I think most people thought that too. That could be one of the best duos in the league. I don't think there was anything wrong with the moves they made. I just don't think it's worked like anybody thought it would. And again, I think a lot of it comes down from coaching and from just something is going on with this team that we don't know about. I don't know if it's in the locker room. I don't know if it's in the front office. But there's just zero reason this team is as bad as it is.
I don't know. It's just bad. I think it starts with Doc Rivers and it kind of just trickles down. But
Yeah,
it is what it is. Like the team wasn't perfect with Adrian Griffin, but what were they like 34-13 when they fired?
they were one of the best top seeds in the East. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Since I started that one, I'll let you do. Oh, are you done with that one?
I was gonna say, yeah. There's my rant for the day.
Hey, I made my rant on them too, honestly. So, you want to start with your third one?
Yeah, my third one. It involves another player who should be in that MVP type race.
Okay.
Should be like top. Like he'll be a dark horse. Paolo Banchero.
Okay, that's a
He's
good
a
one.
dog. Dude,
He
is a straight dog. What do you have? 51.
He had 50. I'm pretty sure.
50 points. I know he had like 11 or 12 rebounds, 9 assists.
Our first 50 bomb of the season.
Yeah. Paulo, like both of us, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but no, it's just like last year he was playing amazing. We talked about him a lot. He was not getting the recognition he deserved, in my opinion. This year, now everyone's talking about him. He did have that. He played 2 great games, had a little bit of a rough stretch in that third game, bounced right back in this game, put up 51, I believe, in an overtime win. My other thing, Magic will be a 4 seed.
Oh,
they will be a top 4 seed. Paulo's playing great. Franz is playing good. Mo's getting good minutes off the bench. Wendell Carter's being he's a good rebounder this season. Jalen Suggs is playing good basketball. This team is playing, in my opinion, as almost a damn near complete unit. They're going to be a top 4 in the East.
Okay, so let me, and I know we just want to rant about the Bucks, but let me ask you this: Celtics, Bucks, Knicks, 76ers, Magic, Cavs. That a double name any teams?
No, I don't know. You didn't double name.
Which 2 teams do you think will be better than? The Magic will be better than
76ers and Bucks.
Okay,
for the pure reason that Embiid is not going to play. Embiid's going to play around 50 games.
Okay,
and I believe they're already 1-2 or 1-3. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just for that pure reason, if Embiid plays the entire season, it's a different thing. But it's kind of just based around that, and then obviously the Bucks are having their issues. I think they're going to.
So you think the top 4 is going to consist of the Celtics, Cavs, Magic, and Knicks in any order?
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we weren't forgetting a team that's like, oh shoot, maybe they could be a top 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nope. And it's going to be those 4, and then it's going to be Bucks, 76ers, and Pacers fighting for the next 3.
Are you? Here's a crazy stat. Let me pull up the year because I want to make sure I have this right because it's such a crazy stat. Let's see here because this is another question I have to ask.
Okay.
Hold on, I don't want to have dead air on here.
Where? Paulo's amazing. I am a big fan of Paulo.
Me too. I'm trying to see because there's a crazy stat, and I want to. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to find it, and I don't want to waste too much time. Keep going off about the Magic, so I want to find this.
No, I mean, like, I'm just gonna pull up stats from the last game real quick. Once I pull them up on my computer, just give me 1 second. Orlando Magic. That's a catchy song. Go check that song out if you haven't already. But they're 3-1 right now. Crazy thing about but Paulo, 28 points per game right now, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He is facilitating the ball better than what I feel like most people would think of. Franz is giving him 20 points on 44% from 3. If he shoots that the entire year, or at least keeps it above 40, amazing. Now people are going to say he has 13 free throws a game, and he's only hitting 63%. People always say that free throws are easy. Go outside or go to your local gym, shoot 15 free throws. Shoot 2 free throws, run down and back. Shoot 2 free throws, run down and back. Shoot 2 free throws, run down and back. I bet you're going to miss a lot more than Paulo is. Unless you're in absolute good shape. But also, Wendell Carter, 11.3 rebounds. He's been a beast, almost 3 offensive rebounds a game. Jonathan Isaac, he's played in 1 game so far, but 2 offensive rebounds, 3 rebounds total, 2 blocks. He's playing amazing. KCP, my guy, 1.3 blocks, leading the team in average right now, or leading the team in total. Like, this team is just prepared to win, like I said, top 4 seed. Let's see here. Who's shooting a lot of threes? Gary Harris, 47% from 3. Jalen Suggs, he's taking about 8 threes a game, 45% from 3. Franz, 44. His brother Mo, 40. Paulo's hitting about 39. KCP's hitting 11%.
Yeah, there was a year or two, and I cannot find it. But the Magic have not had a top 15 offense in a long, long time. I'm talking like more than a decade. They've not had a top 10 offense or top 15 offense in the league.
I was going to say, like, the last time I think they had a good offense was when they had Dwight.
Yeah, and even then, it was just, I don't even know if they were a top 10 to 15 offense back then. Maybe it was, but then you got to think that's 14 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's been a long, long time since the Magic have had a top 15 offense, and is this the year they do it? And
I think so.
They have shooters. I think they have 4 guys that could genuinely hit 100 threes this year. If I was a KCP is gonna be your guy, you're gonna want to shoot. You're hoping Franz Wagner's jump shot comes back. You're hoping Jalen Suggs' jump shot is Jalen Suggs shot 39% last year. You're hoping that's for real, and you're hoping Paulo takes the shot.
Franz is shooting 44%. Paulo shooting 39%. Jalen Suggs is shooting 45% on 8 attempts. Gary Harris is shooting 47% on 4 attempts. So yeah, KCP is the lone wolf. On 4 attempts, he's making 11%, 12%.
Yeah, and you got to think, to hit 100 plus threes in a season, you need to hit like basically 1.5 every game to make that. And if you have a game where you hit 4 or 5, then you're ahead of schedule. So like, I think legitimately they could have 400 plus made 3 guys, which would be the first time that's probably happened for the Magic, and I couldn't even tell you how long. So I think this is really the year their offense could take over, and they already have such a great defensive young core. So
yeah, I mean, Paulo, Franz, Suggs, Harris, and then if KCP comes back and he starts shooting the ball better, there's 5. And if Mo starts hitting a couple more threes, there's 6.
I think Gary Harris could. I just don't know if he's gonna, like, especially when KCP starts playing better. I don't know if he's gonna get the attempts. But 100%, he's a guy that can.
Oh, I mean, right now KCP's getting about 4.5, and he's getting 4.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's there. It's there. You just got to be able to do it. It's just got to happen. You got to keep up that play.
Yeah. So my third one is how did I word this? The Denver Nuggets won't be a top 5 seed in the Western Conference.
No fucking way. No way.
Yeah, I'm guessing you had them too.
Word for word, Nuggets won't be a top 5 seed.
We got to proofread these next time so we can switch up, get a couple more in there. But hey, we're still new to this. We're new to a lot of this kind of stuff, so we're figuring it out as we go. It's just great minds think alike,
Absolutely.
And, they got their first win of the season. They beat the Raptors, which is like, okay, all right. This offense does not look good. Jokic, That's had some crazy performances because he's really the only person on the team that can do anything at this point in time. Their
Yeah.
offense is just atrociously bad. Jamal Murray hasn't been good. It's been a long time since Jamal Murray's been good, honestly. Unfortunately, he was bad to end last season. He was bad in the playoffs, except for those couple games against the Lakers, because fucking, of course. Um, he was bad in the Olympics over the summer, and he's not been good to start this year. He's a guy that like is supposed to be their second best player, the tandem with Jokic, and he just can't score the ball. And then if Jokic isn't on the court, Jamal Murray is not good. He's just not good without Jokic. He's not good with him on the court either, but he's a little bit better. Michael Porter Jr. isn't really shooting the ball well at all right now, and that's his biggest thing. And man, KCP, we've been talking about it all season. Losing KCP hurts because Christian Braun is in there at the 2, and he offers you some defense, but this guy will look a wide open 3 in the eyes and pass the ball. It's almost like he's afraid to shoot the ball right now, and I get it, man. You're thrown into the starting lineup of this like a team that's supposed to be a championship contender. You, especially with the way this team is constructed right now, you cannot be afraid to shoot the ball. You need to take it. You just need to take the shots. Listen, man, I love Russell Westbrook. I said this on my Cloud Report this week. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Maybe my favorite point guard of all time. It's not good. It is not good. His first shot was an air ball 3. And I don't know what's left for Russell Westbrook anymore. I don't know how many years left he's got in the NBA because it's getting worse and worse every year. But he is playing bad, but they don't really have any other backup point guards to play outside of him. So it's like this team offense is abysmal. They're not shooting the ball. Their defense isn't that great. You have Jokic being a superhuman to try to win these games, and you needed Jokic to be a superhuman to beat the fucking Raptors, who aren't even a good team. Like I'm annoyed about this because I thought Denver was going to be good this season. Like we all talked about how losing KCP hurt, and then losing like Bruce Brown the year before. Like over the past like 2 to 3 years, they've lost key role players time and time again because they just can't afford to pay them. But I thought that Jokic was going to be able to Jokic with Jamal Murray, with Michael Porter Jr., with Aaron Gordon was going to be enough of a core 4 that they could pull this team through it to the top seed in the Western Conference. But through 3-4 games in the season, man, it's bad, man. Jokic is out there like 2018 LeBron right now. He is just out there by himself.
He is, and I mean, you got to figure Jamal Murray. You're paying him almost $30 million at this point, I believe.
Yeah, and a fully healthy and good Jamal Murray deserves the money.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that he is just not that.
Yeah, and you're paying him that. You just extended Aaron Gordon. Mm-hmm. Now you're soon, I believe, gonna have to extend Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, I'll pull up his contract
in the next year or so. Say like all your money is tied into 4 guys, and 2 of them are not playing that good. Mm-hmm. Aaron Gordon has been doing his thing. 4 for 8, 2 for 2 from 3. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He is playing his role to a T. Michael Porter Jr., he needs to shoot the 3 ball. But Christian Braun has got to pull the Michael Porter Jr. out of his bag and just shoot everything.
Real quick, Michael Porter Jr. still has 2 more seasons after this one on his contract.
Okay. So, I mean, they have the core for a couple more years, but just a matter of, do you extend Michael Porter Jr.? Do you try and get pieces to fit in around him? I don't know. This Denver Nuggets team, in my opinion, is starting their downhill decline unless Jamal Murray starts playing better, starts playing good at least.
Yeah, and with a guy like Michael Porter Jr., I think it's 3 games this season he shot under 30% from 3. With a guy like Michael Porter Jr., it's just like, I think he's going to get it back. I think he's just one of those guys that's going to shoot the ball enough that he's going to shoot himself out of a slump. It's just like, how long is it going to take for that to happen?
In 3 games this season, against Toronto, 1 for 4. Against the Clippers, 0 for 6. Against OKC, 3 for 10. So he's taken 23 pointers and he's made 4 of them.
And that's just not good. That's 20%.
Yep.
For a guy like Michael Porter Jr., it's just like, again, he's a guy that you might see a 3-game stretch like that throughout the season, but it's going to be sandwiched between a game where he shoots, like he's going to shoot 60% for 2 games, have that stretch, and go back up to 56. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to happen in a stretch. But for it to happen at the start of the year with everything else that's going on with them, it just makes it look even worse.
Yeah, it's just, if they don't pick it up, this Nuggets team...
Whoa!
Oh.
Sorry about that. I freaking clicked my thing.
No, but realistically, this Nuggets team, if they don't turn it around, we could be looking at them in the play-in because the West got better.
That's a crazy thing. Like, if you would have told me Denver's gonna be a play-in team for this year, okay. Since we're gonna make that claim that they could be a play-in team, let's at least do the due diligence of thinking like who's gonna be above them, because I don't want to just say that. You know what I mean? So we'll start up top. I think
OKC,
yeah, OKC, Minnesota,
the Lakers.
maybe the Lakers if they play the way they are. There's definitely a team I'm completely just forgetting about, aren't I?
Dallas.
Dallas. I'm gonna pull the Saints because I don't want to
Yeah.
freaking. I'm gonna definitely forget a team. I'm gonna
The
feel like a
Suns.
jackass. Okay, so right now, in the Western Conference, they went to the 13th seed. Okay, it's only 3 games. Right now, the top. We'll just do the top 10 right now because I definitely did forget a couple of these teams. Thunder's the 1 seed. They could stay up there.
Yes.
Suns are the 2 seed. I think they'll be above the play-in. I think they'll be a top 6 seed.
Yeah.
Lakers are the 3 seed. Again, I think they could be above the play-in, top 6 seed. Mavericks at 4, same thing with them. Pelicans at 5 are definitely a weird one with how we don't know how long Jonathan Murray is going to be out for, at least 4 to 5 weeks. But I think that could be a fringe team where they could be above the play-in or in the play-in. The Clippers at 6, again, I think they're in a similar tier as the Pelicans. They're off to a pretty good start, but they could be a play-in team. They could maybe not. Timberwolves are 7th, but they're also 2-1. Like there's a lot of 2-1 teams. I think they're going to be a solidified top 4 team, honestly, by the end of the season. The Warriors at 8. I think it depends how long Curry's out for what kind of start they get off to, because they're not a lot of players looking great outside of Curry right now, but we'll see what's going on there. The Rockets are at 9. Again, I think a fringe play-in team, I think, at this point in time. The Grizzlies are at 10, the 2-2. The Grizzlies, I think, could be a fringe play-in to fully playoff team. We just named 10 teams that are right now above them in the standings that could be in the play-in playoff picture.
One more.
And then you have
I was gonna say you got one more, and I think you're about to say the Kings.
Well, I was gonna say the Spurs are at 11. I made a comment in my video that we might have been a little bit too early on the Spurs being a good team this year. I think Vic had a rough game 1. He's been better the past couple games, but I think we might have overstated the Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes effect on this team. I think we're maybe a year or two too early on that, but I think they're gonna be decent. I think they'll be a team fighting for a playing spot. But then, like you said, the Sacramento Kings are down there, and it's like the Western Conference has 13 good teams. You know what I mean? Like, so the Nuggets can't have a bad start like this and then just have to play catch up all year.
Yeah, like I said. I mean, I guess we both said it. They're not going to be a top 5 team. I think they're going to be fighting for a play-in spot.
That's crazy to think about.
If MPJ and Jamal Murray don't turn it around.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think with a guy like Jokic, one of the best players, if not the best player in the NBA, I think they're going to always have that fighting chance.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me, I guess.
When you actually look at it from an outside view and you look at everything.
You guys are going to see me go turn on the light because it's getting a little dark.
No, if you look at it from kind of like a third perspective, there's a lot of teams in the West that could make the play-in if they're not solidified for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's gonna be a good team left out.
100%. It's gonna be interesting. The Nuggets are not looking good right now. They don't really have time to play about with it either.
No, they don't.
Okay, my 4th statement, my 4th overreaction is Dyson Daniels will be on all defensive team this year. I'm not mad at that. It's not like a crazy overreaction, something crazy, but I think he deserves the love right now. I have a stat pulled up here. He has 28 deflections, which leads the NBA. He has 11 steals, which leads the NBA, and he has 4 blocks, which is 3rd among guards, like eligible guards. He's been phenomenal. He's been taking on like the main assignment so far in all the games for the Hawks so far. He was guarding SGA, and like he's been really, really good. He's been really, really good. His offense is still kind of coming around. He has a decent, I think he had 11 points in their last game. Like he's hit a couple threes. But I think he's getting obviously way more playing time in Atlanta than he ever did in New Orleans. He's basically the starting 2 guard next to Trae Young. And if you can get an all defensive guard next to Trae Young, oh shit, Atlanta might have something cooking. You know what I mean? Because you have the offensive powerhouse that is Trae Young. and then an all defensive team 2 guard in Dyson Daniels. Jalen Johnson has been phenomenal to start this year, but you would hope and you would expect him to kind of pick it up as the season goes on. And Nico Okongwu's looked pretty good to start this season. Clint Capella is you're probably gonna you're gonna trade for, maybe get something back for him. Atlanta, listen, I don't think Atlanta's gonna be good. I think they're gonna make the play-in just because how bad the East is. But like Atlanta, they're kind of starting like they're doing a quick little retool, and I think they might have something going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Dyson. The only thing is, if he does make an all defensive team, I think it's going to be an all defensive second team, because I believe they made the defensive team positionless.
They did, yes.
So I mean, unless he has a really really good season, he's going to make he might make the second team.
For sure.
I don't want to put that, because of what I've done in the past. I don't want to put that first team expectation on him because of the positionless, and second team all defense is within grasp if he keeps playing like this.
Yeah, like I said, leading the league in deflections and steals and doing pretty good to block as a guard.
Yeah.
And like I said, just taking on number one assignments. Like, listen, SGA had like 30 some points, but it's Shea. Like he's gonna get his buckets. It's just about making him take tough shots, and it's what he does.
Yeah, I mean, like him shooting the 3 ball, he's shooting 35%. He went 2 for 4 against Brooklyn, 2 for 4 against Charlotte, 2 for 5 against Washington. He did have that egg against OKC when he went 0 for 4. But if you can keep him shooting 35 to 40% from 3, and he can average about 13, 14 points for you, you got something there as your 2 guard next to Trae Young, especially when he's 6'7".
Yeah, I like it, man. Atlanta's looking good. Well,
Yes, they are.
They got some good prospects, I should say. Yeah,
They have good promise for the next for the future. They got good promise for the next future.
Maybe Trae Young won't be on his way out. Maybe they'll be able to build something up in there.
Maybe. Now, I guess I'll go to my fifth one.
All right.
This one I kind of talked about a little bit earlier when talking about Apollo, but the 76ers won't be a top 5 seed.
Okay.
We talked about it earlier. I already told you who my top 4. I think it's Celtics, Knicks, Cavs, Magic. And then at 6, I think it's going to be the Bucks. Or 5 is going to be the Bucks. 6 is going to be a toss-up between the Pacers and the 76ers.
Okay. No love for the Heat, huh?
Yeah, do you know how the Heat go, bro? They'll be like the 7th.
I know.
They'll be like
7th and be in the conference finals. We know.
Yeah, we know. It's what happens. As long as everyone's healthy, it's just a thing. We're used to it by now. But no.
Yeah, right.
76ers won't be a top 5 seed.
Okay.
Even if Paul George plays the majority of the season with Tyrese Maxey, I just don't think there's enough there to get them over that hump and get them a top 5 seed. Now, if they had all 3 of them for like 68 games, 70 games, then I'm changing it because they're going to win at least 58 of those. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're going to be really, really good if they have all 3, but they don't have all 3. I just don't see them beating a team or being above a team like the Knicks or obviously the Celtics. The Cavs are playing pretty good. The Magic I talked about earlier, but those 4 teams and then the Bucks, it's Giannis and Damian Lillard. You know what I mean? Obviously,
I guess it doesn't hold as much weight anymore as it used to. But yeah,
the Pacers or the Heat might even sneak into that 5 spot.
We'll see.
I feel like there's about 4 or 5 teams that could realistically potentially get that 5 spot.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, I just don't think the 76ers are going to be at that point just because of how the Embiid situation is going right now.
No, and I agree. I think, like you said, a lot of it rides on how much Embiid plays. And then same with Paul George. Tyrese Maxey has pretty much certified himself as one of the best point guards in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
And honestly, one of the best point guards in the league at this point in time. He's really, really good. But he can't do it alone. They have decent role players in like Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre's on the team, Andre Drummond's on the team. They got some young guys. I think they have a good team if they're all healthy. It's just missing Embiid, who's arguably one of the best players, one of the best centers in the league. Paul George is a really good all-star level player. That you just can't really replace that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's never a good sign when you come into the season with those 2 hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they get hurt and it's like, okay, they're gonna be out for like a week, something happened. You kind of have a timetable, right?
Yeah.
But when you are out to start the year. It's like, yes, they give you timetables, but it's like, yeah, you can't really trust that because, again, like I mentioned earlier with Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson was supposed to be, he's not going to be there opening night. It's a week. Oh, it's a month. Oh, he's actually not going to be playing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it can keep getting pushed back. And, I mean, same, we've heard with Kawhi Leonard. Like, all the things, like, it's something else we didn't even talk about, where his former personal trainer, or I don't know if his former, but his personal trainer, is suing because of the way the Clippers dealt with his injury. It's like you just see players sometimes to start the year. It's like, well, they're not going to be there to start the year. Then it's gonna be longer and longer. And there's, like I said, Embiid might not be back till 20 games in the season. We literally don't know. I'll double check myself because maybe there's something came out, but yeah.
You know, Maxey right now is averaging 31 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. It just he is trying his best, and right now I believe they're 1-2. Kelly Oubre is giving you 21. Caleb Martin's giving you 13. Andre Drummond, 10 and 13. 5 offensive boards. Like I don't know. You get Paul George and Embiid back, you're looking at something pretty good there. But at the end of the day, you need both of them to really be a contender in the East. And even then, with how other teams are built and they have, in my opinion, a more, I shouldn't say fleshed out roster, but it's just, I don't know. It's hard to compete in the East right now. It's very, very competitive.
Okay. So I just pulled up, and it says that both Embiid and Paul George are out tomorrow against Detroit. So they're already ruled out for tomorrow's game, which will be tonight as you guys are watching this.
Oh, my Lord. But hey, I mean, Andre Drummond, 13 rebounds a game.
Yeah, Andre Drummond's going to get his boards, man.
Yeah.
There's one thing about Andre Drummond. He's going to get his boards. And, like, it just sucks. Because, like I said, I think this team is a good team. It's just Paul George, the past couple years, really has been struggling to stay healthy. And Embiid, his whole career, has been kind of struggling to stay healthy. This team looks so much better on paper than it's going to play out.
Yeah. Like I said, if they're both healthy, Embiid plays 70 games, 72 games, same thing with Paul George, my view of this team is completely different, but I just don't have the trust and faith that Maxey can almost single-handedly will them to a top 5 seed in the East. Because that's about what it's going to come down to, in my opinion, obviously.
I think. Sorry, I was going through I was trying to find more stats for Dyson Daniels. And so I jumped on Twitter. I think Kenny Beecham. I think his Twitter got hacked. He had a post that says, "Hello, Twitter family. I have a special promotion going on. I have 10 MacBook Pros on sale for $600 each. On top of that, I'll be signing every MacBook that is sold." And it's a picture of their phone on Kenny's account. Like, I think Kenny, and even the community note said, what did it say? Please be careful. This account's most likely been hacked. Damn. Yeah, this dude's trying to sell. This guy's trying to sell MacBooks for $600. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Anyway, sorry. Oh, never mind. On Kenny's burner account, he says, "My man is hacked. Do not interact." So there we go. Okay. We figured that out pretty good. If you guys don't follow Kenny's burner, you probably should. Kentrell, it's a pretty funny burner. Sorry, that was funny. I just had to mention that.
But one quick thing before we get into your last one, Embiid has more technical fouls than he does games played so far.
Well, the bar's low, but that is crazy. That's crazy, man.
And I believe we already talked about the Sixers getting fined $100,000 in relation to Embiid's status. So,
yep.
Also, one last thing. Shout out to Rudy Gay, retires after 17 seasons.
Ooh, Rudy Gay, one of the best jump shot bases in 2K for years.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, shout out Rudy Gay, man. One of the best, like, pure scores at the 3-4 spot. Shout out Rudy Gay. My fifth and final is one you're going to love. The Celtics are going to walk back to the finals. I just don't see anybody in the Eastern Conference right now that is going to compete with them. Like, they built that Knicks team to try to compete against the Celtics. I just think it's going to take them a while to gel. That Knicks team is going to take a while to gel because they brought in Mikal Bridges and Cat. Those are two big pieces to bring in. Those are guys that are going to want shots. Like, it's not like bringing in a role player because you can mesh role players into the game, but you're bringing in two one's Cat's a good star, and Mikal Bridges is a really really good player. Like I think it's just going to take the Knicks some time. So I think if the Knicks have a disappointing year one, I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's just going to take them time to bring in players like that. And then you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, like the Magic are going to be good, but they're just unfortunately they just don't have the power to match the Celtics. The 76ers, we just don't know what their health. The Bucks, we've been waiting for them to get out of the first round for a while now, and it's like Dame and Giannis are struggling to stay healthy, and the rest of the team's falling apart. And like then you get down to the Cavs have good players. They've kind of not really proven yet that they could go deep into the playoffs. They got to the second round last year. They're beating the Magic in 7. They just don't really have enough. Like offensively, it's a lot on Donovan Mitchell. And then you get down to like the Heat, the Pacers, and stuff like that. It's just like I don't see a team in the Eastern Conference right now that is going to be like a serious contender for the Celtics to get back to the finals.
As a Celtics fan and watching games and just keeping an eye on everything, the one team I'm most scared of, and this is going to be a little bit funny, is the Orlando Magic. The reason is they always play us good. And what I mean by that is if you watch the games, it's always a close game, and we usually if we play them 3 times, we'll win 1 of the 3.
Okay.
For some reason, the Magic always play us really, really well, and I don't like it, and I hate it. I'm gonna be honest. I love the Magic, but I don't want to see them in a 7-game series because that is the one team that I would be genuinely scared we'd lose to.
So if the standings play out like we kind of predict, you probably would see them in the second round, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the biggest thing that the Celtics would have over the Magic is just the playoff experience because you guys are deep in the playoffs every year. Just came off a finals victory, and this Magic core won 7 in their first round last year, but they don't really have much playoff experience at all, like outside of that. So you guys would,
I think the guy with the most experience is KCP.
Yeah. So it's like I think like the Celtics are just going to be the way more calm, cool, and collected team, especially in a second to third round playoff series where the Magic just might not be quite ready. I agree that the Magic are probably one of the couple teams you might pick to be like, oh, they could. It's just that like, you know, you have that Franz Wagner would be having to shoot well the whole playoff run. Like he'd have to be shooting well. They would have to be Jalen Suggs would have to be playing great defense. Paolo's going to have to be playing great defense. Like they would have to. It's just a lot that would have to go right for them to play because the Celtics are they're just a really damn good team. They're the best team in the league, I think. And it's like I just don't see really anybody in the East that's going to. I mean, the Magic could take 2 games and maybe push it 6 or 7. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, unless the only thing the Magic would have going for them is if the Celtics hit 29 threes in the first 3.5 quarters, and then they'll be like, oh, they're just going to keep popping them boys off, and we'll be all right. That was ridiculous, man. They were. It was so blatant how they were trying to get that record. They were just pulling everything, and they couldn't hit anything. But they had the game in hand anyway. So,
but speaking of the Celtics, real quick, they're doing this without Porzingis.
Yep.
And Porzingis is going to.
Well, you guys were damn good without Porzingis last year too.
Yeah, that's just crazy to think that I don't want to say we won it, but Porzingis was in and out of that lineup through the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And to think if we would have had a fully healthy Porzingis,
yeah,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, when Porzingis comes back, it's gonna be even better. This team is just they only have a couple year window because of like the contracts and stuff like that. But damn, this other team is gonna be. It wouldn't surprise me if in the next 2 to 3 years they win another 1 or 2 championships.
Man, I like thinking that, but it's kind of like how you were talking about earlier with Penn State being number 1. I like it that we're the like one of the like the top team. I want to say it, but at the same time, it's kind of just like that just puts a massive target on our backs.
100%. Well, you guys already have one because you're the defending champs. You know, a lot of people hate Boston for a lot of different reasons. So it's like you guys already have a target. But yeah, you're kind of like the Warriors of the 2010s. The more you keep winning, the more people are just going to hate you.
Yep.
So that was we each had 5, some of the same. We had like 3 of the same ones. But that was our overreaction to week 1 of the NBA season. And again, don't take it too seriously. Some of those things I genuinely kind of believe in. Other ones, it's like in another 2-3 weeks, they won't really matter much. You know, Denver could be a good team again, or like, you know, we don't know. You know, so don't take it too seriously. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get up out of here?
Check out the World Series is being Game 4 is tonight, but Dodgers are up 3-0.
Is it tonight or as?
Tonight.
Oh, okay, no good.
Game 4.
Okay.
Game 4 is tonight as we're recording this, so by the time you watch this, Dodgers could be World Series champs.
Yeah, shout out. I think Shohei's playing, isn't he? Because he got hurt last game.
Yeah.
I think Shohei's playing.
He's playing.
I know. No, I was gonna say I know you're a Yankees fan, but yeah, unfortunately, Aaron Judge struggles in Aaron Judge is basically just MVP James Harden, where he's really good in the regular season and kind of struggles in the playoffs.
Aaron Judge is just the modern day Mike Schmidt.
Damn.
If you know that, if you know that, then you know that.
Damn. Okay.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Shout out to the World Series. We don't talk baseball much here because I think we both like baseball, but we're not nearly as big of fans of baseball as we are basketball and football.
No, I've pretty much just really gotten zoned in when the Yankees were making the playoff run, and now it's kind of just
bandwagon.
Oh, this guy.
What? I'm an Orioles fan. What the hell are you gonna call me? You can't call me a bandwagon.
I'm not.
You can't call me.
I'm not.
Good about it.
No, you're the one calling me a bandwagon.
I'm a Wizards fan. You can't call me a bandwagon of anybody.
You're okay. Oh,
hey, I'm a
jumping ship from the
Wizards
Lakers
fan. No. I'm still a Lakers fan first and foremost. But it's like we're like Lakers, and then we're like Wizards. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like the Lakers are always gonna be my number one priority. But listen, man, and I don't know. It's just because we went to that one game, and all of a sudden I started paying more attention to them, and like they suck. But they're like the fun suck. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're like the. They got something going on, kind of. Not really. No, they're not looking good for the next couple of years. But you know, it's sometimes it's fun to root for a bad team. But you don't really have expectations for it.
Shout out Alex Sarr.
Shout out Alex Sarr, man. Shout out Bilal Coulibaly. Shout out Jonas Valanciunas. Jordan Poole's still on the team. He's having some good moments. So maybe we're seeing 2022 Jordan Poole again, and that would be crazy for them.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for this week's episode. But before we get up out of here, as tradition, because we do our Sunday morning picks for the NFL week, and week 9 of the NFL is this week. It's crazy. We're flying through this season of football, man. The Texans and the Jets play on Thursday night, and we do the Thursday night predictions at the end of this episode because you won't see, like, by the time Sunday, it doesn't make sense because it'll be a couple days ago. So, Levi, for your first week 9 pick, we have the Texans and Jets Thursday night. Who do you have?
Because of the injury to Stephon Diggs and not having Nico Collins, I am going to go with the Jets.
Hey,
I think this is gonna be the game where we finally see Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers get pretty much on the same page.
Okay.
And this is gonna be kind of like the I shouldn't say breakout game, but this is gonna be like the game that kind of like draws the attention in a good way to the Jets after they've been on a I don't know how many games slide now.
It's rough. They're 2-6 now.
Yeah, the head coaching controversies that have been going on. I think this is the game where Aaron Rodgers and the Jets settle in, and Devontae Adams goes for like 8 catches, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
All right, you heard it here first. Levi has the Jets winning their first game in a while.
Yeah,
wow. And I'm not mad at it. I think with the injuries, I definitely think it makes it closer. So we'll see. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on before we get up out of here today?
Not really. I just hope everyone's having a great day.
Yeah, and then go check out my channel, Cloud2K. We've been growing really, really fast recently. You guys have been loving the 2K content. I'm in the midst of a Halloween week right now. Had a Monday episode was Dead by Daylight. I have an episode coming out tomorrow as you're watching this on Halloween. And then, not even Levi knows about this, I'm cooking up a nice little 2K video for next week. Only one 2K video coming out next week because it's going to be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. It's going to be probably pretty decently long, honestly. So check out my channel, Cloud2K, for that to see what it is. And, yeah, I guess that's going to do it, right?
Right.
Well, we will see you guys next week. Peace.